Hello, everybody. How's it going today? It's Thursday. I'm going to get this out of the way real quick. It's a little darker than usual. It's not for some dramatic effect. I went to the eye doctor today to check up on my eye infection, and the guy put some drops in my eyes. My pupils are all nuts, and I don't want the light directly shining on me. But everything cleared out, and I'm doing pretty good. Should be able to start wearing contact lenses again starting tomorrow, which is very welcome for me. How are you all doing today? Let me know in the chat if everything's going all right and sounds pretty decent. I'm pretty sure I got good levels on here, and we can get into a few topics for today. Start by saying hello to Sean. You're here at the start for once. Yeah, you always show up about 70, 75% of the way through these things, and then you apologize for it. You never need to apologize. I'm just happy anybody's here to begin with. Okay. Okay, cool. So it looks like we're all good to go, although YouTube is acting very strange. The glasses make me look smart. Nothing's going to make me look smart. Nothing's going to make me look smart. Hello, Greg. How are you doing, man? I was thinking about you yesterday, actually, because I was looking at a compressor. And yeah, people, again, think that the little guitar toys are expensive, even like Murphy Lab Les Pauls. No. But I really love the Purple Audio compressor. It's so good. It's so good. Anyways. Hey, Rex. And Rex is one of the reasons why we're going to talk about the Gibsons today. I had planned on it beforehand because I had made a plea when we first got the Gibson Goddess back in. I rebought that guitar. When I did the review of that, I said, Gibson, you really need to offer this because you're missing a demographic here. I really felt like they were, in the sense that the guitar is much lighter. It's a little bit more on the bolder side color-wise, and I really feel like one thing people often seek out with Gibsons, it doesn't matter what the Gibson is they prefer them to be a little bit lighter because they can be pretty darn heavy. And they re-released the Light series. I had one of the original Gibson Les Paul lights from the 1990s. I believe mine was a 91 in the blue, transparent blue nitro finish. And it's a little bit different from that. They took some liberties with it, and I'm going to see what you guys think. If you haven't seen these before, should be interesting, but we'll talk about what are different between the original run of the Gibson Studio lights and this. They're called modern lights. And then we'll get into some other stuff right after I say hello to everybody else here. Yeah, the MC77, dude, I love that compressor. That compressor on bass guitar is awesome, and that compressor on guitars, if you're doing a driven sound, if you just add a little bit of hair to it, really sounds great. I love that compressor. It's not cheap. It's not cheap. And I don't want to buy stuff like that used because you really never know. Hello, Markleford. Marcus. Agostino. Hello. All the cool kids are rolling in. It seems that way. So let's check out these Gibsons real quick. If you want to follow along, I believe... Let me make sure that this is in here. Okay. Yeah, click on the Sweetwater link down below if you'd like to follow along with me. It's in the description of this video. But let's go ahead and click window capture. There we are. So we'll go to Black Friday 2nd. We'll start here. So the first thing that we notice is the color selections. There's one color that really stands out to me because I think the name of it is just, I think they could have done a lot better with the name. But as a whole here, almost kind of Fendery with the pastels. You have Cardinal Red, Gold Mist Satin, Inverness Green, and Rose Gold Satin. I remember when those were very popular when they released on the iPhones. And finally, the one that I'm just like, why would you ever name a guitar this? TV Wheat. TV Wheat. So let's click on one. Obviously, you can see the prices there. They're $1,500. But if we look at the weights, 6 pounds, 13 ounces. 6 pounds, 13 ounces. 6 pounds, 3 ounces. 7 pounds, 3 ounces. So for a Les Paul from Gibson, that's extremely light. matching headstocks. This is one thing that is quite different from the original line of these when they first released. The originals from the 90s did not have matching headstocks on them. These do. I believe the pickups are comparable, though. And the other major difference is on the fingerboard itself. The older ones had an ebony fingerboard with the blocks, the trapezoids. These ones just have dots. And for me, I love the idea. I think honestly they're a little expensive, but it's hard to really criticize that too much because, dude, everything is so expensive. Indonesian guitars are hitting $1,000 at this point with poly finishes and some cases substandard electronics and hardware. But as a whole here, I'm happy Gibson are doing something. It also has a tummy cut, and it's a satin finish on this guitar as well. Other things of note, I believe it only has one neck profile, which is a 60 slim taper. It's got to be. Yes, it is a 60 slim taper, and you don't get a hard case. You do get a gig bag. $490 for the rhythm and $498 for the bridge pickup. So it's pretty bare bones. It's pretty basic here. But if weight is an issue to you, let's go back here. Let's look at some of the original Les Paul. Gibson Les Paul Studio Light. We'll see if there are any for sale on Reverb. That one was just like mine, except that picture's all kind of messed up, so we're not going to click on it. We'll click on the red one. So, as you can see, the original lines of these guitars, these all came with black hardware, including the tuners themselves, and no matching headstock, so it looks a bit more like a Les Paul, as well as having, the trapezoids, which is the quintessential thing for this sort of guitar. To me, I feel like aesthetically, I like these older ones better. And, add in the fact that this had an ebony fingerboard. Big plus. But does this guy have a weight on it? 7 pounds, 7.15 pounds. So just under 8 pounds. These are actually a little bit heavier. And the pickups on these were 500 Ts and for the treble and 496 for the rhythm. So comparable pickups to the ones that are on the newer ones. Very interesting stuff. What do you guys think about these? I'm going to minimize this window and I'll catch up on the chat because I can't do two things at once very well. So, rose gold is kind of like champagne in other color systems. I agree. The new Gibsons are cool, but also quite expensive. If you look at the modern studio and the modern figured, oh yeah, we can look at those too. But I'm telling you, everything is so much more expensive. Everything is. It's kind of, I don't know. We're at the point where I'm not sure how it's going to be sustainable at all. Eventually, things correct themselves, and it's nothing to worry too much about. But I do find it interesting to observe as somebody who buys, sells guitars, and does YouTube. You're sure they're a nice open pore finish is cool. I like that, man. I like the open pore finish. It feels really good in your hands. Now, on a guitar that light, I wonder if it's going to dive at all, the neck. It's one thing I dislike about a certain other Gibson guitar is the neck dive. The Goddess did a little bit, and it was a comparable weight, but it wasn't too much. So I'd be interested in trying one out. I did not order one, nor do I have any deal to get one. So the odds are not overwhelmingly high that you'll see one of these on this channel. But I did think it was nice that, they're trying something different, and maybe they're going to a younger batch of players and also to girls. Honestly, it makes sense. The matching headstocks it's a stylish looking guitar. I think that if they didn't have the dots and it still had the trapezoids with the matching headstock, it would look way classier. I think that would have been like just that one little extra detail to make it pop a little bit more. But that's just me. I'm not in charge of anything except this. That's really good savings on the demo model. What was it, like $1,350? That's not bad. I didn't see what was wrong with it, though. We can look in a second. Thoughts on Les Pauls with P90s? I think they're great. Not much more to say about that. I think P90 pickups in general are great. I love them. But you have to be okay with the noise associated with them. because they're not quiet pickups, and I don't really enjoy noiseless P90s. Kind of takes a lot of the character away, but then again, I don't like any noiseless single coils all that much. Doesn't matter if it's a P90, a Jazzmaster, a Telecaster pickup. I don't really like noiseless designs. Feel like it's just a tone that doesn't work for me. But some people love it, so it is what it is. And while we were there, let me go back. I'll real quick, what I'm going to do is we're going to check out what's wrong with that demo model, because if it's 1350, obviously there's something wrong with it. And then I'll talk about the second thing for today, which is the fact that Black Friday sales are already starting, which is insane because it's just November. It's November 2nd today. So, ooh, man, everyone's desperate to sell something. Okay, so let's check out this demo model because you wanted to see that. So $1350, $150 off. And what's wrong with you? Ooh, that ain't good. Nothing really there. Just looks like a little bit of residue, I guess, on the ring. But really, there's your problem. How does it look from far away? Oh yeah, you could definitely notice it. You definitely notice it. I should tell you to buy this because you save $150. But I'll be honest with you, I'd call and try and negotiate a better price for that kind of mark, because that's right on the front of the guitar, and that's only going to keep expanding because of the finish. But hey, if you like relics, you're already on the way, right? Okay, so yeah, I did find this funny when I went to Sweetwater this morning. I'm looking for a MIDI solution here, and that's a whole other conversation. But when I opened up Sweetwater, they were already advertising the Black Friday sale, and honestly, as of right now, it's nothing too crazy. You have the PRSs, but this has already been the prices for those since about 2 weeks ago, I believe. It's 20% off of all PRS SE guitars, unless you wanted a DGT, in which case, doesn't apply to you, sir. The other thing that really jumped out to me was something I recently got myself, was the V drums. These guys, the TD17 KVXs, are down from $20.99 to $18.99. So that's a pretty solid, it's a pretty decent discount, honestly. And consider it's a $450 price difference between these two kits. I know that not many of you guys are drummers, so I'll be brief about this, but it's a significant difference. The hi-hats, you actually get a full dedicated stand and a better controller. It feels a lot more natural to a real drum kit, as well as the fact that you get an additional crash cymbal. And if you price those two things separately, it's a bit more than what you would pay to just have the better kit to begin with. So I thought that was interesting. Outside of that, there wasn't a whole ton that really jumped out at me. The Aux is still on sale, and Black Star stuff, which is like always on sale, infinitely forever, and Universal Audio pedals as well. Those are on sale. The second place was Pitbull Audio, and what I like about these guys, depending on what state you live in, they will not charge you sales tax. I'm in Florida. They are in Chula Vista, California. It's San Diego, basically, for those of you who don't know California. And yeah, these guys, if I buy anything from them, I get free shipping. I get points on anything that I order, which can go towards future orders, which is really nice. And yeah, no tax. So the price is actually just the price. And they have a bunch of other pedals that are kind of for sale at the moment and discounted to varying degrees. And it's not just pedals, it's everything. So if you want, you can browse around there, have some fun with that. But we're going to get out of the window capture. I believe that's all I really wanted to pull up from the browser, and we'll get back to normal talking. It is. Okay. So you see Gibsons are offering a couple. The Les Paul Classics have been on sale for a while. They've been on sale for a while. I saw some of the special runs. I almost called them FSRs, but that's for Fender. I saw some of the special run ones at Guitar Center in the Seafoam Green and Chicago Blue. They were normally $24.99. They were down to $21.99. And then the traditional finishes were at $19.99. And that was at Guitar Center. Meaning if you went to other places, you could probably negotiate even further than that, which is pretty cool. Noiseless in your made in Mexico telly are great for my taste. Yeah, I guess it also depends what kind of music you play. I mean, like, I have fun screwing around with gain, but 90% of the time I'm playing clean. And I hate the way noiseless pickups sound clean. Dent by the bridge. Yeah, it was a pretty sizable kind of blemish, you want to call it that. You have that Player Plush Nashville Telly has noiseless in it, and they're all right. Sounds like you have similar guitars. Some pink fingernail polish would probably hide that. Well, you could hide it with nail polish. The problem is you got to match the color like dead on, or it's going to look almost worse. I've seen people try and makeshift repairs on paints like that. Doesn't always go that well, but you could try. You could try if you really wanted to. That is a good deal. $375? Yeah, $375. That's a really good deal. If anybody's wanting an Apollo interface, you're getting a free $1,000 to $1,500 mic is a great deal. Is that for... That's not for one of the twins. There's no way. You're buying a real Apollo at that point. One of the rack mount units. You gotta be. To get a free microphone like that. Now you piqued my interest. Let's go back to Sweetwater. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, if you're buying a twin, you're not getting a microphone. You gotta buy a real deal Apollo. But it's that's not terrible. So the X6 comes with the modeling microphone. I hate mail-in rebates, but in that case, if you're getting a free mic out of it, that's not bad. Or you could find it used for $1,700 out the Gear Exchange. That's pretty cool if they have that, actually. That's actually really cool that it links right to that. That's smart of Sweetwater. Good implementation. Although, I don't know if they make any money off of that outside of the seller fees. Okay, cool. So I learned something else. I'm just using a twin quad. So, not really of any use to me. But if anybody wants a rack mount Apollo, yeah, that's overkill for a lot of guitar players, honestly. But it's a hell of a piece of gear. The Apollo stuff's great. All the Universal Audio stuff is high quality. You have a couple of the Townsend UA mics. They're incredible, very versatile. I mean, it's modeling mics. You could do so much with them. And if I was going to buy one, it would be Universal Audios because they're so good at emulating things. They really are. Like the Ruby sounds amazing. The Aux is great. The Dream is pretty good. I didn't try the Woodrow because I had no interest in the Tweed. But all of their effects in general they're stellar, and their emulations are great. Their software and their plugins are fantastic. This is all stuff that I've used for a decade at this point. Can't believe the Apollo is this old. There have been refreshes to the hardware itself, but the core system still remains. And a lot of those plugins still sound awesome. I still have the Lexicon 224 that I use all the time. And that was one of the first ones to launch with the plugins that were powered by the DSP in the device itself. Used to run a guitar rack in the 90s. I used to use an 11 rack in the 2000s. That was when everything was like really fresh, and Avid was the ones who released it. Avid are the ones that made Pro Tools, or make Pro Tools as of now, although there's some rumors of some sort of sale going on. But the point is, when that thing first came out, it was like this gigantic deal because it had a really good high-Z input, and you could change the impedance on the front of the actual rack unit itself, which is really cool. And it sounded pretty good. I actually really liked it. I liked it. That was my first endeavor with digital guitar gear, like extensively, outside of like really cheap stuff. Like I had this one Zoom G2Z. I don't know. I get really confused with those. It was like $130 and it had like 5 million digital effects and none of them sounded any good. And I bought the 11 rack anyways. But nah, yeah, I mean, it's fun to play with that stuff. It's pretty cool. But I just prefer the real amps. I do. I prefer the real amps. All right, awesome. Cool. I'm sorry. I was just checking something real quick. I had another email about another product. It feels like now. Let me tell you guys a few things. Every time now I open my email, since I did the Van Gogh acoustic guitar, which one way or another, I'm just going to, I think I might just do a quick thing where I can combine the streams, which is now allowed. You can stream at Twitch and YouTube at the same time. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow night, and I'll just say who wins the thing and just be done with it, because they have been pretty decent to work with, but a little bit flaky. And since I posted the video for them, now every time I open up my business email, I have all these companies of a similar ilk offering me like basically like the same sort of products, either like $100 Amazon guitar or $100 wireless guitar system thing. And it's like, it's just kind of weird just to constantly see it and reading all these offers and things like that. And I obviously, I don't take many of them on because if I'm not genuinely interested in something, even if I'm going to get it for free, I don't really want to just do it for the sake of doing it. You know what I mean? And these places don't want to give you money. They just want to give you a free product. So I don't know. It always blows up my phone and I just get a kick out of it. You still have your 11 rack? Yeah, man, it'll never go anywhere. Hello, the professionals. How are you guys doing? You guys are awesome support, by the way. One of the first ones to comment on every single video. Do you think used guitar prices will go back? Or no, you didn't say used guitar prices. Do you think guitar prices will go back down to what they were before 2020 anytime soon? No, I don't think so. At sticker price. But I think that if things continue the way they are going outside of guitar, and I'm not diving into politics. I'm not doing it. And I'm not a financial expert, nor do I pretend to be, but there's some things that you observe just from being a human being and purchasing day-to-day goods. I don't see how it's sustainable to just have the prices keep going up. That being said, even if people have a lot of inventory, especially at the holidays, because now that I'm working with Sweetwater too, like, it's like a big push. Everything is a push. Like, we got to get stuff out. And when they're struggling to sell things, it can be tougher. And I don't know if they're really struggling, but I know they're not booming like they were at the same time 2 years ago. That much I can tell you for sure. And what I think will happen is you will be able to negotiate with places based on how long they've had the gear even better. Or in some instances, for example, if you ever want to try something out, say you're interested in a guitar that you can still buy new. When the new Gibson Les Paul standards came out and they were announced, I immediately followed, or I clicked the watch button on one listing. And within 8 hours, I had like 8 different offers. These guitars retail for $2,999, brand new. The cheapest offer I got on Reverb, where they're still going to take a 7.5% hit from the fees and the shipping, was $2,199. So they were willing to take $800 off the top and eat the fees on a brand new guitar that they just got to move inventory. So what I would say is, don't always look at things at face value. Call people, make connections, be respectful about it, and you might be really surprised what you might be able to get as far as the price. But list price wise, I don't see us going back to pre-2020 anytime soon, if ever. Did I see the new colors for the Harley Benton 335s? Ice Blue Metallic. I saw that one. I didn't see the second one. And if I did, I forgot it. You know what? Let me just real quick. I'll see if I I have in my history here. TolmanMusic.com. But no, the HP 35 was a pretty cool guitar. That was a fun guitar to mess around with and modify. So you do have... No, it's not popping up. Why would it pop up? I'm live on the internet right now. Why would anything be easy? And man, my eyes are killing me. I don't know what they put into those eye drops. But they got me pretty good. I did see, though, that Harley Benton released amps. New versions of their amps, which are the same as the Stage Right and Monoprice, in head form, which is pretty cool. I prefer that to a combo amp for that kind of thing because it's just easier to repair. So the HB Gunmetal Blue and Shoreline Gold are the new finishes of the HB 35 Plus Harley Benton guitar. It's a little bit classy. I'm a fan. Definitely a fan. Any thoughts on the limited edition Lawler Overdrive? How deep do you want me to get on this? That's a very serious question because I can go really deep on this. So, hold on. I'm just going to turn this thing on like sleep mode so it stops bothering me, and then we'll get into the Lawler Drive. Okay. So, I think it's awesome. I ordered one. I'm just going to tell you guys right now. I ordered one. It's expensive. There's no doubting that. But I'm a huge fan of Japanese-made stuff. I really am. The thing about this that's so cool is, first of all, the company that makes it, KGR Harmony, the version of the pedal that this is modeled after is $75 more than this one. And there's actually a signature version that is $125 more, I believe, than the Lawler Drive was. The Lawler Drive is $350. What makes this thing cool is, first of all, you are getting like straight up handmade stuff, which is always awesome. And you know they're going to be using top tier components. I've heard the Iron 808 before, which is their kind of tube screamer offering from KGR, and I was really impressed, although I'm not always the biggest fan of tube screamers in general. But what I really found this to be cool because I love cooking. That's one of my other passions, right? And cast irons and kettles. You're going to be thinking to yourself, what the hell is this guy talking about? How does this tie into the guitars and the pedals? So the way that they were traditionally made in Japan is called arare. Sorry, pronunciations is shit today. But how they do it is they go into this old kind of factory thing, and they make them all by hand with iron, and they heat it up with like something like 900 degrees worth of stuff. You have, like, if you make the smallest mistake, the whole thing is ruined. It's like such a skilled and labor intensive, and like you have to get it right the first time. And the enclosures for these are made in similar facilities to that. And I think that's so cool because that's such like a part of Japanese heritage. If you're ever curious and you want to see something cool about it, let me go to YouTube real quick, and I'll see if I can find the video. This will give you a perspective on the art of Japanese arare. Oh my God, YouTube is racist. I'm not even. It's a good thing I'm not doing a screen share of what just popped up when I typed that arare. Teapot. Why are... Okay. Yes, this is a video I would like you guys to see. So I'm going to link this real quick. It's from Business Insider. It's super, super cool. And the fact that Lawler were awesome enough to meet with them when actually what had happened apparently was, I believe his name is Keijiro, flew from Japan to Lawler's headquarters. I'm just going off memory here. If I get any small details wrong, I apologize for that. I don't speak on behalf of Lawler. But I remember reading it that way, that he flew to their facility and showed them some of the pedals, and they were so into it that they commissioned him to make them. And the fact that you're getting like real quality. And one of the things that I don't like about limited edition stuff is there's like it doesn't feel like special anymore. It's like, oh, you got a different color on this one. Like, this is legitimate craftsmanship and art in how the actual enclosure is made. Whether this drive is going to suck or not, or it's going to sound awesome, that remains to be seen. We won't know until I have it in the room. And I might love it, you might hate it, or vice versa. Whatever. That's going to be all for taste. But it's showing appreciation, because the labor hours needed and the amount of work, it was well worth the money for me. Well worth the money. Okay. Sorry about that. I went off on a little bit of a tangent. You live 2 hours from Sweetwater on the same road. You can go there whenever, and they will work with you. And I've gotten some sweet deals. Good. They're not making more. They're not going to make more of the pedals, Chad. And I don't think it's pricey at all, putting into context what I just said about how it's made. It's not some JHS thing in a can that's generic as hell being sold for the same price. Like, this is a piece of art. And again, whether that translates to a great sounding pedal or not is very different, but the labor to make this is substantial. And the fact that Lawler kept the price to cheaper than the similar circuit, the one that this is based off of's initial price, is incredible that they were able to do that. They made 100 of them, and they sold out within about 3.5 hours, I believe. But yeah, no, it's a trip, man. KGR Harmony. So what I'll do is, real quick, we'll look up their website, and I'll show you guys on the screen what I'm talking about. That works? Okay. It is Keijiro. Keijiro Fukushima. And I know it's in Iwate, Japan. So this is the one that it's based off of, I believe. The Arare Overdrive. Really, really cool. So look, $425, so it's $75 more. And then the blue, more expensive version is $475. So they were able to make this special run of pedals, super, super high quality, a lot of intense crafting to be able to get this done, and keep the price manageable. And I don't mean to say anything bad about, some of the other pedals that are expensive. Like, there's a lot of pedals that don't have this sort of labor that goes into the actual casing, and they could sound great, and they're worth the money. Like, I have some pedals that are more expensive than these, and I love them, and it is what it is. But there's just something about the appreciation, and it really hit me in the soft spot, because it's just like, I'm obsessed with Japan. It's like a scary degree. But yeah, they have a bunch of stuff. Yeah, there it is, the Iron 808. That's the one I've heard. That's the one I had heard before this. Really good stuff. Okay, let me get out of there. Yeah, I just wanted to give you some perspective on the pricing, because it's all things considered, it's a very fair price, in my opinion. You have a great deal of interest in the Blackstar Debut 50. Only $250 and the reviews are good. My only worry with that stuff is, dude, yeah, it's only $250, but in 2 years, it could be a $250 paperweight that's worth nothing. That's not repairable or not worth repairing. That's my problem with those sorts of amps. And see, this is where I differ, because while I might not agree with some people when it comes to some cheaper guitars or budget guitars, I see a lot of value in them compared to to cheaper amps like that, because you could always repair a guitar, and you can always upgrade a guitar, and unless it's like plywood, garbage, fake wood, like just some absolute scam, it's going to function just fine so long as you take decent care of it. Even a $100 Harley Benton Telecaster, they'll last you for years and years and years and years and years, so long as you don't throw it. You'll be just fine. You're good. Whereas with an amplifier like that at a similar price point, I am almost universally against all of them, because you're not going to be able to fix that on your own, first of all, 90% of the time. And second of all, it's just not sustainable stuff. It's stuff that's made to break. It's like your phone in your pocket. You're going to go upgrade it in 2 years. I'd rather spend more money on the amp, have a quality amp that if something goes wrong with it can be replaced. And the nice thing is, even at $250 and you don't want to spend $1,000, you don't want to spend $2,000, whatever, I get it. I'd buy a used AC-15. You can get those all day for $400. And right now, with the way things are, I bet you could get a few even cheaper than that if you buy them used. Those will last too. I'd take one of those any day of the week. Any day of the week. Over any of these digital amps that are that price. Because you just don't know. And it would suck to buy something and it seems like it's a good deal at the time, because $250 is reasonable. If it sounds pretty decent and you like it, that's cool. But you have no idea how that thing's going to hold up. And then once it's out of warranty, the odds of you getting it fixed affordably compared to just rebuying another amplifier are skewed towards you just buying another amplifier altogether. And I think that's not how I like to go about things. Maybe you're different. Speaking of Sweetwater, what does everyone think of Sweetwater's used marketplace? I think it's a good idea. I honestly wish, they'd be killing it. If they made one change, they would be killing it. When they launched it, they gave you the option of, you can keep 100% of the profits if you want to use the money that you make at Sweetwater. I thought that was a nice touch. The thing I didn't like, the fees are the exact same if you don't do that compared to Reverb, paying 7.5%. If they had come out of the gates and really stuck it to Reverb, but if anybody could have afforded to do so, it would have been Sweetwater, in my opinion. Come out and be like, you know what? Charge you 3%. Charge you even 5%. If you're moving a lot of volume, that 2.5%, that adds up quick. To me, that would be enough to be like, all right, I'm pulling all my listings. I'll deal with it. They could have done that. And then what you do is, once you have everybody converted, then you can start raising up how much of a percentage you take. But introductory level, man, I really feel like they missed an opportunity there by not starting off a little bit lower with the fees that they were charging. Okay. You've been working on a jazz bass. Hey, Deb, how are you? Also to Ian 2. Hello. Goodbye, Augustino. Goodbye. Thank you for coming in. I saw something about Supro. Oh, God. You're not wrong. I also have a hankering for a Supro. Oh, yeah, that's another amp that, I don't know, man. A lot of people have asked me to check out the Amulet. Part of me kind of wants to, and part of me really wanted to try the 64 Reverb that came out, I believe, a year and a half ago at this point. I don't know. I've talked to a few amp techs that have advised to kind of stay away, as well as a few people that have not had the best experience. But then I know 2 people in particular that have had them different versions of Supros since they launched, recent Supros, and they've had no problems whatsoever. We'll see. I'm trying to think of what I can sell to buy that blue one. Work of art for sure. Yeah, it's genuine art, man. That's true handcrafted art. And it's really cool to be able to support that company, both of those companies, in that way, and have something that is different. I don't know, I appreciate stuff like that. It's why I like the 77 guitars, the Momose guitars. They're It doesn't feel like an IKEA product. It doesn't feel like something that was just like, here's something made for consumption. Enjoy. Here's product. And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, like, I don't know, I appreciate that stuff. Whether it's going to have any practical difference, probably not. No. But I don't know. That's just me. Things sell quickly on Sweetwater Gear Exchange. Well, we'll try that tonight. You haven't tried a Supro, but they pique your interest? Well, yeah, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole, Greg. I ain't touching that one with a 10-foot pole, Greg. I don't trust them. No, thank you. And by them, I mean those amplifiers. Not for... Because think about it like this. Say you're me, okay? Say I get one of these amps, and I praise the thing. Say it sounds great. Okay? We'll call it any amp. We'll call it a Black Star, a Supro, whatever, a Spark, whatever, right? I tell everybody how great it sounds. I talk about how much I love it. Whether or not the guitar is, or the amp is given to me for free or not, that's irrelevant at this point because it's my own opinion and my own word. If I push everybody to go buy one of these things at launch without knowing the longevity and without being good enough as an amp technician, because I'm not an amp technician, to be able to take an objective look at the components, the wiring, the pieces that are used, and how it's put together, to be able to say, oh, this is a disaster. I tell all of you guys to buy these. They end up being crap. You lose all your money. You can't get a return, or you're going through a terrible return process if you can. No, I'd rather just not do that. I'd rather just recommend things I know are going to last, or stuff that I know is good. You know? Not to say any of those things are universally bad, but just, I don't know. That's something that I'm really careful with when I do this. Marcus, we are going to test that out, by the way. You're very late. Has it been fun? People have said I've looked smart. I went on a rant about cooking. I talked about teapots, cast irons, and a little bit of Japanese stuff in general. I'd say that's fun. Most people probably think I'm crazy. I like IKEA product for taking outside the safety of my house. I can't do it with guitar stuff anymore. And it's funny because people would assume, based on what I've said, and especially with the Squires, like I hammered that Squire. That is the most uninspiring guitar I've had in years. It really is, that Jazzmaster. People assume then they're just like, well, you just like high-end guitars. You're a snob. I don't feel that way about Harley Benton guitars, and Harley Benton guitars are cheaper than those were when they came out. Because the Harley Benton guitars, especially at like, once you get to the mid-tier of Harley Benton, you're getting name brand quality hardware. If you don't like the pickups, that's one thing. But you're getting Goto or Babbitt's or Wilkinson. You are not getting some of this extremely cheap garbage that comes on the Squires. You're not. And I noticed that stuff. And that like, and they feel a little bit better. I love, and you get stainless steel frets. For me, I do like cheap guitars that hit a certain like kind of parameter of things. And the Harley Bentons for me do it. Whereas there's not many other brands that have yet. Maybe there's some out there, but I haven't tried them all. In my experience, the Harley Bentons are great. They really are. They're great. You can't beat them for the money. And yeah. And that's another reason why I judge the Squires and Epiphones as harshly as I do, because I do know what you can get from Squire. But then if you want to take it up a price point, think of it like this. Sometimes I'm really hard on Fender USA. Now, why am I so hard on Fender USA at times, despite the fact that I have some American Fenders and I love them? It's because I know what you can get from Japan, from other brands, at a lower price more often than not. And I know how great a guitar can be. So it's the same kind of deal, man. It's not just the low end. There's like certain people in every price range, I feel, that are just like, just smashing it, dude. And then others that are kind of either living off the name or, you know, just, I don't know, not making something that I personally like. I don't know. It's weird. Your Supro is giving. Oh, that's not good. You're having a problem. You're hoping it's just a bad solder joint or solder joint or something easy, cheap to fix. It sounded amazing, but it's a problem now. How long have you had that, Lee? And which version, which model is it? You drive a 2011 Honda Civic in part to support the habit. You're smart because a 2011 Honda Civic will go forever. Regardless if you're a guitar player or not, they'll go forever so long as we're legally allowed to drive cars with gasoline. That's a whole nother conversation. As a car guy, I get very passionate about that topic. Good to know. Yeah, we'll give that a try. We'll talk about the Sweetwater Gear Exchange program. We'll list what I have on there right now. That's not selling on Reverb. We'll list it. Got the pink Jag, that freaking PRS. I'm trying to give it away, you guys. I'm trying. Nobody wants it. And the 5909 pickups that I took out of it, I put the stock ones back in it. Trust is what will keep me away on those amps too. I'm sick of the big threes, but mostly Fender amps. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just happy I found amps that really work for me. I got really lucky. The Friedman's awesome. You guys know I love the Tone King. And I really like the Vox. And those are three different price ranges, man. 3 different price ranges entirely. They're all great. They're all great in their own right. Hold on a second here. Okay, cool. I'm just catching up with the comments. The Campanitas. And why do you keep linking me guitars in email, Rex? Sounds like you got enough guitars. You should buy that 76 reverb off Princeton reverb off your friend. That's what I would do if I was you. Stop looking at these. Stop looking at guitars. You got enough guitars. Play that Campanita. Post a video of you playing it too. I'd love to hear it. Or if you tracked with it at all, send it over. I'd love to hear that thing on an actual recording. And I know you know what you're doing with that. How do I feel about Vola guitars? They're pretty good. I think they're pretty ugly, just being objective. But build and spec wise, good in my book. Same with Fujigen. Well, what were available to buy from Fujigen in America. Fujigen Japan, totally different story with the neoclassic line. Woo, good stuff, good stuff. Jet guitars are killer for the money. Love them. I never played a jet guitar, so I can't comment. You're a fancy man who likes fancy things, even if those fancy things don't cost a lot of money. I don't think a Harley Benton's a fancy thing. Nor do I think something like a Benson preamp is a fancy thing. I don't know. And the Tone King's not a fancy amp either. It's got one volume and one tone. No effects. Not the band. I don't know. And the more switches on a guitar that's not a Jazzmaster or Jaguar, and push-pull, and series parallel, all this other crap on all these guitars, I want nothing to do with it. I'm old-fashioned. That's what I would say I am. I'm more old-fashioned than fancy. Which Squire was I thrashing? The 40th anniversary Jazzmaster. Not a fan. Not a fan. It functions, but it is the least inspiring guitar that I've played in years. Hey, I just got a terrible one. Oh, man. Okay, Blues King, couple of years. A couple of years, that's not terrible. Yeah, bring it into attack. See what he says. And report back to me. See what the problem is and how much it would cost. Because that's actually good information that I could then share with other people. We could tell other people about that. And have them actually... Just have him give his thoughts on the amp itself. It's nice to hear text perspectives that don't just do things for YouTube. And I don't say that to be mean, but like, it really is nice. Just like sometimes it's nice to talk to people that don't do YouTube and just have a ton of gear. get their different perspective and stuff like that. Because I feel like we're all just kind of, I don't know, sometimes we fall into our own little echo chambers of things and we believe what we want to believe, and we have like our certain people where it's like, oh, I trust this guy on this guy on this. I think it's important to hear differing views and different perspectives from differing, um, you know, just lives. I was looking for a fancier word there. It didn't come. What model Squire is it? The 40th anniversary vintage Jazzmaster. You're counting on your Civic going for at least 5 more years, if not longer. I wish I could convert my wife to the way of thinking, but no luck so far. My wife is awesome like that, dude. We don't care. We'll run everything into the ground. That's just how we roll. Buy something quality once, and that's it. Doesn't need to be fancy high quality, but it needs to be quality. And you're good. Your 1996 Chevy S10 with 355K on an S10 on the original motor? You got 355 on an S10? Have you done a rebuild? Because if that's as was, Jesus, congratulations. That's a hell of an accomplishment with the Chevy S10. Your Harley Benton is super fancy. It's okay. He wasn't talking. Yeah, stupid. Fender Mustang switches are cool too, though. Yeah, oh yeah, obviously I'm a big fan of the Fender Mustang. Okay, I thought we just made a big mistake and everyone was just staring at pictures of guitar pedals that were static on the screen. But luckily, I switched the tab off today. I didn't do that. Who was the first band artist you really got into when I started playing? Like, really got into? Into guitar or just playing music? Because the first band I really got into when I was playing drums was probably Green Day, because it was faster. Like, I really liked, like, Basket Case was on the radio all the time. And I didn't like grunge music at all. I still don't. And I liked kind of that was like my entry level into punk rock. And from there I got into bands like No Use for a Name, Strung Out, Lagwagon. Lagwagon is such a fun band to play drums along with. Difficult, but fun. Unwritten Law, all those kinds of bands. Pennywise, dude. So many great bands. For drums, that was what I liked. And then on guitar, there was not one. I only learned how to play guitar so that I could play more music of that style. But I wasn't ever trying to emulate anybody. And I think the main reason that I have the funk capabilities that I do is because some of the bands I listened to were like third wave ska, like Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake. So there was a lot of faster upstrokes and muting of things, syncopation. So I got really good at that really quick, and you didn't need to know a ton of chords to be able to play a lot of that music, but you had to have your technique down good to have it sound clean. Like, same thing with like bands like the Boss Tones, playing rhythm guitar for that stuff. That got me like really tight as far as the fundamentals of going without me trying to chase anyone's sounds. And then it all just kind of morphed, and as the years went on and I aged as a guitar player and my taste kind of changed, it was just like I had that in my back pocket without even knowing it was there. That all worked out. It hurts me to see so many folks on offset guitar focused Facebook groups who have like 7 Squire offsets but not one Fender Japan model. It doesn't hurt me, but I do chuckle. But it's not exclusive to just that group of people either. Like, I don't know. My situation is very different than most people's. I understand that. But if I was just like an average guy, just didn't do music, maybe I do it a little bit for fun here and there. and I got like $1,500 to spend, I'd much rather just have one really nice guitar. Like the Kinko's Jaguar. Just one of those from Japan. Than freaking 6 Squires. First of all, from a logistical standpoint, it's less maintenance, less guitar strings, less things that could go wrong. And secondly, an infinitely better one guitar. But some people want to have one of everything because as society has taught us, you need one of everything. You need one of every guitar. And then once you have one of every guitar, you need a second one that has a different set of pickups in it. Then you need one in a different finish. This is a limited edition. You got a poly one? Garbage. Got to buy the nitro. Or the antique varnish. Whatever they call it on some of these other brands of guitars. Any poll for today? Nah, no poll for today. I didn't know how long we were going to go because my eyes are, they're so screwed up after the eye doctor. I almost didn't stream. I had the light all the way up. That's why it's so dim today. My pupils are like, it looked like I went to a rave in the late 90s. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry, but I can't go into detail. But my eyes were big old pupils. Oh, man. You have a good amount of tech. I did all I could. It's going to him. Yeah, be sure to report back, Lee. Let me know how that goes for you. 7 Squires, and they think they know what a legit Jazzmaster Jag feels like. Yeah, I mean, but again, dude, you can't look down on people for that because it's their own decision and it's their own ignorance. Like, you know how many things I've been wrong about in life or thought I had any idea about? To this day, there's probably so much stuff that I think I'm like, oh, I know, I'm an expert. No, I don't know anything compared to a real expert. It takes time, it takes experience, and sometimes for some people, it just might take sitting down with one really good one once and being like, oh, I get it. Oh, now I really get it. And the next thing you know, all of their guitars, their Squires that have been modified to all hell and high water, all 7 are listed for $1,000 a piece on Reverb. And not a single one will sell for that. You see it all the time. You see it all the time. You keep saying the newest run of the J. Mascis, the Chinese factory, are great quality. Check one out. They never have them in stock. They never have them in stock. I've never seen one in stock there. And I have a very nice Guitar Center, too. Original motor, rebuilt trans. Congratulations. Chevy S10, $355K on the original motor. That's freaking awesome. Okay. I think I'm almost caught up with the chat. You crowd surfed at Warped Tour 2003 while Pennywise was on stage. It's a highlight in my story on this earth. Do you want to know a story about crowd surfing in the Warped Tour that I have? Strung Out was playing. This was in 2000 or 2001. Strung Out was playing, and there was a big old pit, and there was some crowd surfing. Now, I've always been a crowd surfer. At that time, I was at least. Not anymore. And I went up, and honestly, I don't know what the hell happened because I remember being up. People were pushing me up, and then I just remember going down. And then I remember one of my buddies dragging me out because apparently someone had stomped on my head. And I went unconscious briefly. And I went to the medical people. I went to the tent at the Warped Tour. Not exactly world-class medical facilities. But I remember sitting in there, and the guy's just like, he's like, you all right, man? He's just like, dude, I can't believe the fall you take. Like, dude, like, that was insane. That was the last time I crowd surfed. I was at the Warped Tour. And, yeah, they gave me some fun pills. And they said, don't do that anymore. And that was the end of that. I haven't thought about that in years, and I probably wouldn't have thought about that until you mentioned that. I guess if you play all upbeats, it refines your sense of timing. Well, it's not just the upbeats. It's the hand constantly in motion. So, like, if you ever watch Corey Wong play, or you watch somebody that plays upbeat ska, their hand's going the whole time when you're at a certain tempo. What's making it sound a little bit slower, perceived slower, is your left hand and muting the strings and the interval in which you're doing so. That's what's going to be the difference. So your right hand is like, it's like a helicopter. It just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. It's my engine. And then the left hand is the one that, really creates the rhythm itself because it's working in conjunction with the right hand. Being a drummer always helps for fun. Yeah, being a drummer has helped me so much. I don't think I'm a great guitar player as is, but I would be significantly worse if I wasn't a drummer first. I know that. You're a drummer too. First influence was Zeppelin. John Bonham was always swinging. Yeah, he hit hard, man. I always respected that. You know who else I really liked? As I got better at drums, I love Carter Buford. I think Carter Buford is one of the greatest drummers that's ever lived. Fantastic drummer. Drummer for the Dave Matthews Band. Now, if you've never really listened to that band and you hear me say that, you're like, dude, what are you talking about? No, Carter is a monster. Monster. So good. So good. And Steve Jordan as well. I wouldn't say he's as good as Carter, but Steve Jordan, he really, really nails a groove. And it's just like liquid. Like you get sucked into it. Sounds so good. So it's just great drummers. Great drummers. Sending my brand new PRS SE24 back. Several high frets up past the 12th. And it weighs a ton and I don't like the way the neck feels. Beautiful, but no life in it. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Anyone here get into that band Lifetime? I've heard a lot. I haven't heard that band's name in forever, too. What are we going down memory lane here today, you guys? Jeez. That's really funny. I had a mix with the band Midtown. Midtown came on, and then like 2 songs later, a song from Lifetime came on. And I got a good chuckle out of that. What guitars are newer artists playing? Bands first releasing music in the last 10 years? Everything these days, Rex. But I still see Telecasters and Les Pauls more than anything else. Whether they're Fenders or Gibsons is a different story, but those are still the guitars I see the most from people playing out that are actually like doing the thing. Still so common. Let them buy their Squires. I got an amazing crafted in Japan Mustang for 800 ship. Don't let them in on the secret. Yeah. Dude, if somebody wants to have 1,000 Squire, I don't care. I don't care. Because it's not my life. It's not my money. Doesn't really bother me. But from my perspective, I'd rather just have the one nicer guitar. That's just personal preference. And also, Markleford brings up the other really good point. Just because a guitar is expensive doesn't mean it's very good. I've played custom shop guitars that I thought were complete dogs, and I'm like, I'd never pay for this. And I've paid, Les Paul standards, 335s, American standards, back when they were called that. Nowadays, they're called the American Professional Tools. But I'm like, this is fine. I'm like, but this isn't worth like 10 times as much as a Squire. But the difference is, when you get a really good example of a higher end guitar, you're like, okay, like I said earlier, it's like you have that light bulb moment of, oh, I get it. It's just, it seems like it's harder to find those new these days. Unless you buy from Japan. In which case you're going to say, oh man, I'm done with all these brands. We're getting ripped off in America. You did not get stomped on, thankfully. Yeah, that sucked, dude. That sucked. Orange, he's always playing triplets, and Carter Buford is a tie with Bonham. Carter's technique is indeed second to absolutely nobody. His technique is out of his world good. The way Carter is able to manipulate the hi-hat when he's riding on the ride, and there's a lot of subtle rhythms that are going on, like I'd recommend listening to the chorus of the song Number 41 by Dave Matthews Band. Check out a live version and see if they have one with the camera on him. What he's doing there, it looks very easy. I assure you, you're going to watch it and be like, what is he talking about? What he's doing is not that difficult. Or a song like Halloween. Oh, man, he goes nuts on that song. But in 41, it's just this great groove. And the way he's able to just like, it's like a magician. It's a magician how he's able to do all this and make it look effortless and have proper dynamics while doing so. The best of the best, Carter Buford. The best of the best. Such a damn good drummer. Such a damn good drummer. I would skip school to watch the first Letterman morning show with Steve Jordan playing his band. That's awesome, man. Steve Jordan's great. How cool is that, Greg? How cool is that? And if any of you guys are watching this, you never heard of some of the people that we're talking about, check them out. Even if you're not a drummer, you might get inspired by some of the grooves that you hear. Because sometimes that's, if I'm really blank when it comes to ideas and I feel like I've hit a wall, I'll play some drums and I'll just like go in with a completely blank slate. I'll play some drums, I'll find something. And then I'll think about that while I'm playing the guitar, and all of a sudden I have like a different rhythm. It's a good way of mixing things up a little bit. Pay attention to the drummer. Really is inspiring stuff. You recently played a 72 custom Telecaster with a 725, and I cannot believe how much I enjoyed it. What great guitars, and the vintage radius is awesome. Forget what the people on the gear page say. You know, it's just crazy to me. It's unplayable. I need a 12-inch radius with stainless steel frets minimum, preferably compound, and the neck heel joint must be totally fluid. I cannot believe they are still using passive pickups in 2023. Just all nonsense. So much nonsense. And if you like any of that stuff that I just said, I'm not making fun of you for that. I'm just saying the fact that people look down on the vintage stuff like, oh, that's unplayable. Modern's better. It's not unplayable. You just can't play it. You're spoiled by your perfectly easy guitar to play. You don't know how to fight with an instrument. And that's fine. Nobody's requiring you to do so. But it's the truth. There you go. I did my gear page voice for today. Stuart Copeland, yeah, Neil Peart. All great drummers. Why do a lot of cheaper guitars now have roasted maple necks when it only used to be more expensive guitars? Well, that process is only as good as, well, it's just, that's something I've wanted to make a video on. But not, let me just say that not all roasted necks are equal in terms of how they're made, the standards that they're made to, the entire process. It's not all the same stuff. And also, you have to take labor costs into account for where these guitars are made that are offering those. There are a few pieces to that puzzle. But it's not really shocking to me that they're so inexpensive. And then there's the longevity thing on top of that with the cheaper roasted maple. I don't know. I don't think any of those are lifer guitars. You're not going to pass one of those down in 50 years. You've seen Dave multiple times. You're 41. Yeah, Say Goodbye is another really good track too. But that chorus of 41 on drums, fantastic. Gear Page Warriors are, I'm not going to say what they are, but I agree with you. I ordered the new Tom Bukovic album, Plexi Soul. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. He's a great player. He really is. I cut teeth on my 7.25 radius and basses. I still like them. I love them, man. I'm an old soul. But it's also what I grew up playing. I'm going to be 40 in 2 months. I'm dying. Is Social Security even going to be a thing when I get to that age? Or are they just going to cancel it because we're so in debt we can't even afford it? I get emails from AARP. That's not a joke. I think they're looking for my dad because he has the same name as me. But still, I like seeing that. Should I do a whole show in the Gear Page voice? Oh man, I'd have to be like at peak physical health for that. That even hurt my throat doing it for 40 seconds. Stuart Copeland, yeah, it's great. Bill Ruford, you play more like Chris France. I like what you did there. When did gear acquisition supersede the playing side of guitar? But the internet and social media, specifically social media. Because when it was just forums, it wasn't like you were showing, like you were still like, you could still like buy something and show it off to people, like, look what I got. But now, like, but for somebody to see it, they'd have to be a member of the forum. So they'd already have to be in on it. Now, if you post something on Instagram, your new thing, you'll get people that don't even like the guitar liking, and you'll get the dopamine hit of, oh my God, like, and you just want to keep going. And then it becomes like your entire account is just pictures of your stuff. And very rarely on those accounts where it's a lot of that's the dedicated topic, is there any playing whatsoever. But some people just like to look at it like art, like the actual pictures themselves. But I think that was a big part of it. Once stuff like that became very accessible and, me, look what I just got. And it's a status thing. It's like buying a BMW to some people. You can show the neighbors. It doesn't help that, brands wised up to this and then use social media and use content creators to help sell their products. Try not to let the cat out of the bag too much. I did get something provided to me that you will see tomorrow. It's not a guitar, it's not an amp, but something pretty special. And I was not expecting it. But as a whole here, with the way things are going, it looks like I might be starting to get more offers of doing stuff like that. But being picky about it, at least. I don't know. I like to keep you guys in the loop with that stuff. But we ran way over today. Let me read a few more comments and we'll get out of here. Actually, you know what? That's a perfect place to end it, on Rummy's side quest and my little thing at the end there. So I've basically given you a hint. Tomorrow's video, I'm not financially sponsored by it, and I don't have any affiliate links to what I'm going to be playing in tomorrow's demo, but it was given to me by the company that makes it for free. And it's quite special into a very special guitar. So I hope you do enjoy that. I worked hard on that. Thank you all for watching today's stream. I was having so much fun, I didn't even look at the time. Here I thought I was going to make it 20 minutes because my eyes are all screwed up. We went 15 minutes over. See you guys tomorrow. Have some stuff. And the Mustang versus the Mustang, the Vintera versus the old 70s one, that should be the video after tomorrow's video. If not, maybe I'll do another one with the Vintera before that. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.